All right, with that, we're going to go into public comments. Peter, I'm going to mess this up, sorry, Peter Pincone?
Piccone.
Piccone, come on down.
I'm going to discuss a problem I don't think anybody's aware of. Yeah. The homeless issue. Here's the thing. I moved here 10 years ago from Orange County. Originally from New York, raised in Marine Corps, ended up here. We fell in love with Wildomar. Okay? It's a safe community for my family and I. When I'm having to now chase, and I mean literally chase on foot, individuals on Saturday nights at 9:30 trying to break into my car, my neighbor's car, it's frustrating. When my wife goes to Albertsons with the children and she's being accosted in the parking lot by individuals telling her, give me money, you know, from a 24-year-old kid who was released from Jerry Brown's Prop 47 and 57, okay, it's frustrating. And the job that I do in Orange County, I understand the issue. And it's concerning for me. So I'm not here to tell you that you don't know that there's an issue. It comes down to the broken window theory, right? That if there's one broken window in a neighborhood and we don't address it, then everybody's going to think that it's okay, and they're going to keep coming. And there's probably a lot of reasons why the problem is being exacerbated. I don't know, it's because people are feeding them, whether it's church groups, if it's synagogues or mosques or what have you. And I'm a religious person, but there's a reason why we shouldn't allow these people to keep coming here. It's not the homeless people of the past where they lost their job and they're out on some bad times. These people should be in prison, at least the majority of them, from my experience. So that being said, please stay on it. Please stay on top of it. Anything, everything, more patrols. I mean, for our kids' sake. So that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Joseph Morbido?
Good evening, council, staff. Last month I came before 3/5 of you to announce my intentions to run for city council of Wildomar's 3rd district. It makes sense that I'll be using my public comment time to talk about my issues at each of the remaining 4 city council meetings before the November election. Now the other day I was asked by a friend, why was I running? And it was a very easy question to answer. For as much as I personally like Tim Walker, and I do, he's a good man, I have the energy of a newcomer to push the bar higher for Wildomar and kind of like address some of the things we just heard. If you've read any of my website, Joseph Morbido for Wildomar.com, you've seen me make some bold promises. Now the cornerstone of my campaign is communication with the residents. In addition to returning every phone call, text, or email I get, I've promised to bring town hall meetings to Wildomar as a quarterly thing. Now just last night I was at a town hall put on by Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez, and her district is massive compared to little old Wildomar. Now her job is a legitimate, full-time job where she has to be away from home and family nearly every week to do it. Yet she holds two town hall meetings a month. I was also reading on Facebook how Lake Elsinore City Council member Steve Manos is having a town hall meeting in his city. We need to do this. Get the word out effectively and then listen to the people, even if only a handful of individuals show up. Now I've promised to spearhead a newsletter from the city that will keep interested residents in the know of what's happening here, which could include like, what are we doing about the homeless? And though I've heard some pushback on why that's not practical, if I win, I will not be taking no for an answer. We are going to work together to shore up the poor communication that now exists between the city bureaucracy and the residents who need assistance. I've also stated that I will work for the creation of a Parks Commission, and I want to push in getting our code enforcement to tackle some of the serious issues in town, such as the homeless. Now that might be pie in the sky for some of the people that have been part of the city machine for years and years, but that's what we need, a fresh perspective. Again, my running is not a personal thing. It's simply about wanting more from the electeds even if I have to become an elected myself to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you. George Acosta? For Jorge?
You're just fine. Thank you for your time. My name is George Acosta. We've been living here for 9 years. My mom spearheaded to move us here 9 years ago. We love the area. She moved here, bought a home, got me and my brother to come here and buy a home. We love Wildomar. You know, we've never shucked away from one of our responsibilities, and my mom has a home in Wildomar. She rents out a couple places too. She has a container where she had for them to pick up to put their trash away. May of this year, I got a letter that one of the tenants had ordered a container. So they hadn't made the payment on the container, or they weren't able to get the payment. So I called them, I told them, well, why are you calling me? Why are you not calling them? They go, well, we're gonna take it out of your tax because it's on your property. I told them, well, and as civil as I could, you never called us to ask to bring a container on our property. In fact, we have a very large container in the middle of the property, which is still there, and we make our payments to you every month. Why is that container here? Why don't you take the container away? Well, we can't do that because we have a deal with Wildomar that the container must stay so that we don't not have some place for the people to throw their trash. Well, they do have a place to throw trash, a container much bigger than the one that they had there for this other tenant. So now I have found out, because our loan is impounded, that last year they took $286 away from our taxes. I didn't notice it because the loan's impounded. This year they have us set up to take $1,219 away from our taxes, and next year it's $546 that they're gonna put on, because they finally took the can away after I pleaded and got one of the supervisors to please take the can away. We never asked for the can. They never asked us, hey, can we put a can on your property? No, another person asked for that can. We are the owner. I'm here for my mom because she's 76 years old. She can't be here. I'm speaking on her behalf. I'm asking for you to help us with that. We've never not paid our bills. Our bills get paid automatically to them. Our can is still being paid for. The $276, that $86 they paid, I guess that's my time. I don't know what to say.
Well, this is probably related to item 2.1. You marked down not on the agenda, so we had to come up with. We'll get to this item at 2.1, and we'll talk about it then, okay?
So what does that mean?
You need to wait till item 2.1 on the
Okay.
agenda, so we'll have our consent calendar and the rest of public comment, and we'll get back to that item. We'll
Sure.
talk some more.
Thank you.
Okay. Eric Dye? Eric Dye?
Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. My name is Eric Dye. I'm Whitaker. I'm the Executive Vice President of Whitaker Investment Corporation. We developed the Interstate Business Park project at the end of Prelip Road. You're familiar with Ford Building. Cheryl Lade was one of the few people in my life that's actually stood up before the county supervisors and said, please vote for this project. So here I am. I'm going to ask for some help. On Inland Valley, there's a homeless camp. I'm sure you're very well aware of it. We now are experiencing quite a bit of vandalism and crime in our project. Of the 2 million plus square feet of assets that we own in our portfolio, this project's the only one that we have to hire a security guard 7 days a week. And that doesn't stop all the problems we have. I can't make a straight line between that camp and what's happening down the street, but I think you can infer that there's a pretty strong connection. My previous experience with these matters is that that's a property owner problem. It's a nuisance. It's a life and safety issue. If those encampments start a fire, all those oak trees go up. All my roofs are composite petroleum-based products. My buildings can go up in flames. It's a life and safety issue. Okay, the second issue I have, and I sent you letters mid-March, is about waste management. We're fighting this company and all the municipalities that have a monopoly contract. They will charge $50 for each time that they come out and find just a little bit of trash above the trash line. Month before last, our bill was $750 extra. That goes back to the tenants, and it's just egregious. It's a rip-off. It's a profit center. There's no way I can fight it because you have the contract. But I ask you if you could put a little pressure on these folks to stop that, because that's just, we're trying to keep the trash level, trying to work with our tenants, but it's just a big, big problem. I wish you could help me, And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric.
Mr. Dye, I just wanted to say real quick, we are well of that homeless camp, but we do have active code enforcement case, and so our code enforcement officer is working with the property owner.
Good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Kenny Mays with time donated by Ruben Caston.
I was asked to break my promise not to speak, as no one seems to know when live streaming will become a reality in Wildomar. That's with a little W. It took 2 years and tens of thousands of dollars to get a new website. It's only been a few months since the county authorized $60,000 for live streaming. An RFP has not even been issued yet. Happy anniversary, Freedom Swing. Maybe one day it'll actually be removed for the second time, as no one seems to be capable of making it a functioning wheelchair apparatus in our park. It has been used on several occasions as a group swing, despite it being chained up. It looks like the city subscribes to Urban Dictionary's definition of soon. Soon does not imply any particular date, time, decade, century, or millennia in the past, present, and certainly not the future, rather than a Merriam-Webster dictionary without undue time lapse. On May 2nd, I received a response to an email I had sent to the City Council and staff about the lack of district maps at both the library and the post office, as many people do not know about district voting or what district they might even be in. I was assured these maps would be placed in the above locations very soon. There should also be on the city website the detailed description of each district, as the maps lack sufficient detail. Would have brought some slides, but the last ones have resulted in almost no changes, other than the water district cutting a hole in a hedge. One still cannot turn safely without creeping into the intersection from Durango onto Union, and one has to worry about hitting someone when turning from Union to Durango. So I figured, why bother entertaining you all? Once again, the city has failed to notify the neighbors surrounding Marno O'Brien Park about the possible traffic restrictions due to the run walk held on May 19th. Once again, the city has chosen to partner with an organization that is not registered to solicit donations in the state of California. This despite that organization having received a notification from the Attorney General's office starting in 2016 and again in 2017, a final notice, that they must register for California government code. The City Council also received notification from myself that this organization was not registered. When is the city going to become responsible to its citizens by ensuring monies they donate go to legitimate charities that follow the law? When is the city going to become responsible for notifying its citizens when a planned event will restrict their movements, even if just for a couple of hours? It has come to my attention via the County Health Department that the City of Wildomar purchased a temporary health permit for the May 19th event at Marno O'Brien. This health permit covered the sale of food products for which a portion of the proceeds went to ALS 1. The purchase of this health permit is an illegal gift of taxpayer funds which violates the California Constitution. And Mr. Attorney, I expect you to remain silent on this, as a company you partner with, Burke, Williams, and Sorensen, was a sponsor of that event. The city needs to get an independent review of this practice. Maybe the grand jury will be a good start. Parcel tax report sent to the State of California Controller Betty Yee, her office. Reports for which the city spends thousands of dollars are a joke. They contain erroneous information, showing a lack of professionalism or just plain incompetence on the part of those who prepare them, Webb and Associates and the Spicer Group, along with those that accepted and paid for these reports, city staff. An example is CSA 103 drainage landscape for fiscal year 2016-17, which is listed as a drainage parcel tax in a report to the Controller's office, where the tax bill states that it's a landscape tax. Further down on the report, section F, there's boxes to be checked about where the money is spent. The only one checked is drainage and landscape. What happened, or drainage and drainage maintenance? What happened to landscaping, as this is the only money spent other than management costs for that fiscal year shown by city vouchers. The Measure Z parcel tax for fiscal year 2015-16 was reported to the state, but not for 16-17 according to the city website. The 15-16 report does not show any exempt parcels. It's completely left blank, even though there's over 300 exempt parcels. We pay good money for these reports to be done correctly. Maybe it's time for the city to look for a new city manager, along with a wholesale replacement of city staff. Lastly, I have 3 public records requests which have not been responded to in a timely manner. I'm currently looking into my options regarding this matter. Thank you.
Coyote McDonald? Was I close?
Kiwi
Haley.
McDonald.
Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Kiwi McDonald. First, I would like to state something nice that's overdue. I'd like to thank the inspector of my solar panel, solar installation. He was very thorough and pointed out what needs to be corrected, and hopefully he's still with us. Now about my neighborhood. We need your help. It's been a wonderful place to live until one neighbor decided to have an Airbnb business. Now there have been unfamiliar vehicles parked in front of our homes and even in my driveway. The Airbnb operator told me it's such a lucrative business. They decided to expand by adding 2 RVs, which can accommodate up to 8 people in each RV in their backyard. They do not have RV access from the front of their home, so took down a back wall and decided to access through someone else's lot to create their yard and bring in 2 RVs. They dug trenches to bring in utilities for the RVs. We live in single-family residential neighborhood, not in an RV rental park. The neighbors are concerned, how are they going to dispose of human waste with no sewer connection or septic tank? What about our health and the noise and traffic from their business? More unfamiliar vehicles, in front of our homes and in our driveways. Driveway makes us feel less safe. Neighborhood watch can be effective under those conditions. What about home values? Home prices have been steadily increasing, but still aren't up to the original price. In last week's news, there was a shooting by Airbnb renters. We recently had a break-in in the neighborhood. It never happened in 5 years since I lived, here till now. When one neighbor was little, her home was broken into and she was tied up. And she carries the terrible scars to this day and deserves not to worry about strangers coming and going. How is the city going to handle crime?
Ma'am,
Yes,
your time's up. Have you filed a code enforcement or a request on our website at all?
I have.
Okay. Has Keith gotten back to you yet?
No.
Okay.
That's not.
We will find out what's going on with Keith. I've got your number on here and we will
I
follow.
appreciate it because, if the hotels was built here, they'll pay the tax.
Yep.
But Airbnb owners,
Very familiar with the problem. Yep.
so,
Thank you for coming down and bringing it to our attention. We'll have to go ahead and move on, but we'll definitely be circling back with you and
but
talking
thanks
with
so
Keith.
much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Dorothy Nader?
Well, I think this lady just said most of what I wanted to say. The only thing I would add is that I think it's a shame to let people spend a lot of money, already have done this, and not deal with it very quickly, so that these are nice people. They don't mean to be horrible. They're spending all this money. Who's going to stop it before it gets worse?
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. And then Connie Nader?
Hi, I regularly walk in our Wildflower neighborhood, which is bounded by Union, Palomar, Wesley, and Maze Lane, I think. And I'm seeing increased signs of transient activity that concern me. I'm seeing lots of little liquor bottles. I'm seeing things like a used condom, a syringe, things that are signs of trouble. And I also see people sleeping at Martin O'Brien Park on the ground. I see people sleeping outside the library. And my thinking is maybe we could use a transient occupancy tax on Airbnb to help fund a solution to this problem. I think we certainly need to work area-wide, because I know from when I lived in San Diego and suburbs there, for some reason I always seemed to live right off the street that harbored prostitution. And I'd move from one city to another, and for some reason the prostitution would move to the...
You didn't bring that with you here, I hope.
I was not, no, I hope not, but the used condom, that's something familiar that I don't want to see in the street. So I would like to urge you to work with other area agencies and hopefully come up with a solution to this problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are, Connie. All 6 cities are working together.
Yay, thank you.
Patty Hatch?
Hello, I'm back again, and again to talk about Cottonwood Canyon. It's become, probably it's been about 18 months and it was graded last time, and when it rained last, there has been sides of the road that are missing. There's a lot of holes, there's a lot of ruts. It's the same complaint that I've been saying before. People come on your side of the road trying to avoid the ruts, trying to avoid the washboard, and my biggest concern is, believe it or not, is the response people, the fire department, the police, the ambulances. I've seen them have to go really slow to get down the canyon, and if I need them, I've already decided I'm just going to throw my husband in the car and take off. I'm just going to go because the road is so bad. And people that, not just the ones that live there, but people are taking it as a shortcut to get from Plenty Canyon to Canyon Hills. There's 2 schools at the end of Canyon Hills. And then if Railroad Canyon happens to have, which is horrible, an accident, people come and find Cottonwood Canyon to get back to Canyon Lake and Menifee and Sun City, and it's become a nightmare, basically worse than it's been before. But I have left messages with people in charge of the road department, and I don't get return calls. And which I know Wildomar has money going elsewhere, and that it would be nice if it could get graded and maintained a little, at least twice a year. And I know it's been at least 18 months, so that's about it. I think I emailed all of you guys anyway, and you have my email, so you could read the parts I missed out, but that's it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Betty. Becky Frederick?
Hello. Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak. And I think I'm kind of adding and preaching to the choir of what you've heard several times tonight about the homeless and the thieves, but I'm here, so I might as well say something too. A couple of months ago, we had, here in our meeting, we had some residents from the North Ranch community on this side of the freeway come and speak and share all their concerns about what was going on with the homeless camps over there. And you had mentioned there was a sheriff in the back of the room and said, let's get together and see if we can come up with a plan. I'm sure you've been working on some things you've been saying tonight. But what I want to add to that is, my husband and I live in the Briarwood community right over here off of Prelip. And we see the camps back and forth. I've emailed you before. I'm sure you're working on it. It's getting really bad. We see people driving their cars down there and back up. I mean, however, something to add on to all of that is about a week and a half ago, our neighborhood was a victim to people coming and getting into cars. They went from house to house, and we have them on all of our security cameras, checking doors, checking locks, and several people had things stolen. And maybe it's the same people, maybe it's not. We've seen it happen around the communities, and you're right in Temecula as well. But it's scary, and anyway, I just wanted to bring it up again, and maybe you can discuss or tell us some of the plans, and if you can't, but maybe some more encouragement might be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll speak for a couple seconds before Tom cuts me off on the homeless issue. Generally during public comment we can't respond, but I know we are working on bringing the ordinance forward that the Sheriff's Department talked about that they have in Lake Elsinore. Another big issue we're trying to bring forward is weed control, basically to go in and clean up the properties. This will allow us to go in, clean up a property, then put a measure on their, put it on their tax bill. We know the county used to do this in this area. It's something we've been needing to do here for a long time. We're going to be pushing forward. Hopefully next month that ordinance coming forward, not the following month, but it's really going to almost be too late this fire season to use that. But we can also use it for cleaning up the properties that are nuisance properties that they haven't been cleaning up their properties and clearing them. So we're working on those things, and it's a struggle we're having up and down this entire corridor and out across the whole state. So, but thank you for coming in and keeping us on our heels. That's where we need to be. Thank you. With that, Ms. Miller.
Evening. I was told that Wildomar should be working with Elsinore School District to open Jean Hayman Elementary as a remodel home for the challenged. Everyone calls them homeless. I call them home challenged, who need apartments. And, does that mean you don't have a school district? You have to answer me later. So you have to go over to Elsinore School District. That would be good. They would have somewhere. Wildomar has the opportunity to elect new council members and at least some people who will come to the debates and study more of the situations, and the people can come and talk about solutions. So that was all of you tonight that came and offered your remarks, so come to the debates. The people are supposed to represent the rural sanctity and protection of wildlife, underground aquifers, vegetation, peace and quiet and safety. That's your job. It's not to sell Wildomar off to the developers. We don't need things like that, that outcropping of rocks on George Street turned into the tackiest concreted. It looks like something out of Los Angeles in the river where they concreted everything and they're sorry and they're trying to take it down. Quit concreting our nature. Let it run its course. If you have to stop putting housing above it, then that makes sense. For the 67th district in this last election, we could have voted for Michelle Singleton. Did any of you think outside your Republican box? I sincerely doubt it. That because she isn't writing bills that will remove the power of the California law that protects our environment, CEQA, like Melissa Melendez and her fourth attempt and the Assembly Bill 2856. She needs to stop lining her pocket with federal and state grants that she will get for low-income housing. And that's what she accused the Democrats of by saying that they built the environmental damaging stadiums or basketball. I'm not for any of it. We don't need any more buildings in California. So stop all of them. Come to their senses. We can work to support Julia Butterfly in the 42nd District, House of Representatives, so we won't have another 2 years of someone who doesn't represent sustainable California, either in his personal habits or by bombing the almost extinct Palestine Peninsula of Gaza or any other obsolete wars that he supports. Calvert has a lifetime record of less than 6% environmental voting. That means he votes against almost every bill that supports the environment.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Protecting air,
Your
water,
time's
land
up.
that passes. Well, why is my time up when, you know, it doesn't feel like it was?
It's been 3 minutes, Ms. Miller, thank you.
Okay, well, I'll have to continue the speech on voting as it comes closer and closer.
All right, Gina Castellan? Gina, I have 2 cards with your name on it, one for contract services personnel and one for survey.
Can I speak on both of them?
Are these our items on the agenda?
No, this is public comment, they're not.
Then you get 3 minutes, but yeah.
Oh, for both of them,
Well,
or for,
public comment, you get 3 minutes, yeah.
okay, so on the contract services, you voted last month to approve a personnel companies, People Ready and Manpower. When we used to have our contracting services company several years ago, we hired manpower from time to time. It's a very expensive way to hire people. I thought that's what you're supposed to do in-house. So I'm questioning what's the need to hire additional personnel companies to hire part-time and full-time work if we're concerned about our finances. So then the second one was the survey. That last month you approved another, the Lou Edwards group for another $51,000 for another survey. I'm not quite sure, it seemed like it was a survey, or is that for the election? But it was not to exceed $51,000. In the detail of the packet, the contract was for $58,000, and that didn't even include printing, mailing, postage, or translation. So I'm not really sure. But on the survey that you paid the $41,000 that we got this from, my question is, it says nearly 7 in 10 see a need for additional local funding. So 7 out of 10, it sounds like everybody in Wildomar was surveyed. If you could tell the public again how many people were actually surveyed out of a population of 36,000 in Wildomar, that you can get a conclusion that 7 out of 10 say we need at least additional funding, and a 1-cent sales tax would be viable for the November ballot. And would you be putting that, when would you be putting that on the ballot? Thank you.
George Cambrero?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and staff. My name is George Cambrero, and I live at 2158 Grand Avenue in Wildomar. And tonight, I'm representing Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District. And I have to apologize. Last month, when our staff was here to provide a presentation on the variable sewer rate, which is supposed to go on July 1st. I wanted to be here, but unfortunately I had prior commitments, and I'm sorry about that. But if there's a need, to bring back the staff, we could do that. I think Director Morris, I'm not sure, I think he was also out of town. But, our heart is here. Whatever goes on, you guys may not see me around, but I see you guys. I feel that what goes on in Wildomar, fires, accidents, and shootings, all kinds of different things. I may not be there, but I see you guys, and Wildomar is my heart. This is what I've done, and I'm sorry for all the things that go on, but we need to make it work moving forward. My district, so everybody knows, basically my district is west of the 15. It basically works with New Rieta. It goes all the way up to Riverside Drive in Lake Elsinore. So I think I represent something like 36,000 people. It's, it's quite a bit, especially when there's issues. But you know what, issues is okay, it's challenging. I'm always willing to make things work. And if anybody has any concerns, issues, questions, I'm always available. I'm not afraid to give my number. It's 951-285-9789. You can call me anytime, 24/7. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, and yeah, your group did a good job at the presentation last month, and we understand you can't beat every one of them, that's okay.
Thank you.